Hey guys, Sean here. Today, looking at our back with another tier list. Today we'll be ranking the best banned spells in Yu-Gi-Oh! This will be part of a series where we rank every banned card currently on the ban list. We have previously done best banned link monsters, and today we'll spice it up, best banned spell cards. So, let's get into it. We have some tiers here. We have
What does it do? How is this legal? Last will to live? Yearn for the mines? And you still here?
Let's get into it. Alright, let's begin with an OG, a classic card. We have Giant Trunade.
Honestly, I can see it being in the middle of the tier list, just with Last Will to Live. My reason for that is because, yes, it's broken, it returns all spells and traps in the field to the hand. And one argument a lot of people made was the fact that if you set up a bunch of floodgates, such as the easy to flip up ones, like there can be only one skill drain and all that, just to completely cripple your opponent during their turn, activate Giant Trunade, all that stuff gets back into your hand, and then you're able to just abuse your own turn without worrying about your own floodgates that you set up. That's one of the main reasons people wanted to stay off the ban list. But considering how heavy Konami's been cracking down on those easy to flip up trap floodgates, you can kind of see an argument for why Giant Trunade can come back. But I still think it's broken enough to stay where it is, just because there are some old cards that still see play. So there are some cards where if you activate it and get an effect, and say it's a continuous spell or whatever, then you activate Giant Trunade to get it back into your hand. Then you can just activate it again and get another bit of advantage. So I can kind of see why this needs to stay banned and kind of needs to stay where it is. But I can see both arguments really.
I will say that is a fair argument, but a lot of let's say combo decks, if they have continuous spells and traps, they're already once per turn. Now I can see this being good in turn 3 or 4, you know what I mean? You activate it on turn 1, it goes back to your turn, you activate Heavy Trunade, add it back to your hand and play it again. But I don't think it's crazy. I do think the potential for it to be broken is there, and it's another good card against back row decks, which I feel like we have kind of enough. I feel like if you have something like Lightning Storm, destroys them all. If you're playing against Labyrinth, at least those traps have effects in the graveyard. But this is maybe a bit broken against stuff like Labyrinth and stuff like that. So, I don't know. It's banned, and I don't really care if it comes back. It's not that important really. So yeah, we'll keep it banned, but it's definitely not the most broken card on this list. We've yet to see the insanity Konami was on. Speaking of which, Mystic Mine. We're not yearning for the mines today. This card is pretty bad.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, yeah, maybe the top tier on, oh, what does it do? But at least very, very high, how is this legal? This is absolutely insane, because what I mostly hate about some turn off your brain decks is how little cost you need to be paying in order to just get them out into the field. And Mystic Mind Burn was just one of these decks that was just so low brain power that anyone could pick it up and just play it, but it was so toxic to play against, because basically you can go full combo, or maybe you set up a little bit of a board. All your opponent has to do was activate Mystic Mine. It turns off all of your board because it just negates all the monster cards that you control. The thing with Mystic Mine is if you activate Mystic Mine and your opponent controls more monsters than you do, then your opponent cannot attack with those monsters, and also those monsters cannot activate their effects. So it's just a really, really stupid floodgate. You can make an argument with the other floodgates we mentioned earlier, so that there can only be one. At least you had to set them first. Mystic Mine, you just activate it straight away, and then it's an instant skill drain and Messenger of Peace. So yeah, I really, really hate this card. Sean and I kind of really started to take Yu-Gi-Oh seriously when this was still legal and active, and they were horrifying times.
Next up, a card that would have saved us from Mystic Mine if it was legal back then. We have Heavy Storm. This is a weird one because in Master Duel, and I'm pretty sure in the OCG, Heavy Storm is back. It just destroys all spell trap cards in the field. It's just Harpies, but it destroys your own spell traps as well. And I know back in the day, people were like, oh, this destroys my pendulums or something, and I gain effects from this. Nowadays, that doesn't really happen. There's no real advantage in destroying your own cards. This is just another kind of Harpies-like card that's good for just destroying your opponent's back row. And I think it's fair, because there's not enough cards in the game that go for back row decks. I know back row decks are not really popular right now, but there's not enough kind of board breakers that are good for back row. And I think Heavy Storm is perfectly fine. It's not broken, it's legal in certain formats. Bring it back, it's not that crazy. Next up, Kaiser Coliseum, in a similar vein to Mystic Mine, but
Yeah, I would put it in how was this legal? Because, yeah, I can kind of see why it was legal, but I still just don't like it. I don't like cards that are easy to just activate for like no cost and just cause such a crippling amount of suffering for your opponent. Basically, what Kaiser Coliseum is that if there's one or more monsters on the field, the controller of Kaiser Coliseum, their opponent cannot place more monsters on the field than the person who has activated Kaiser Coliseum. So, for example, say if you're playing some sort of Floodgate deck and you have that Fossil Dyna guy on the field, if you activate Kaiser Coliseum, your opponent can only control one monster to match the amount of monsters that you have, which is just super annoying considering that most decks nowadays, they need one monster to start and then go into another monster to linking off and stuff like that. So you just need more than one monster on the field to actually do anything. And especially if you're going first and you activate Kaiser Coliseum, it's just so hard to deal with. It's really, really hard to get rid of spells and traps like right away unless you're running stuff like Cosmic Cyclone, Harpies, or spells or trap specific removal in your deck. Because most spell and trap removal now comes from monster effects and stuff like that, so it can be really, really annoying to get rid of this card. And again, much like Mystic Mine, it's zero brain power. It doesn't deserve to come off the list.
Next up, Painful Choice. Bring it back. No, this card's actually kind of insane. Like, okay, there's kind of like a thing with banned spells, right? It's either a floodgate or it gives you like all the advantage in the world, which is kind of funny. Yeah, it's arguably more broken because it can be used in more decks, you know what I mean? It's not just a floodgate you can easily out. If you activate and resolve this card, you're winning the duel. Basically, you pick 5 cards from your deck, your opponent picks 1 for you to add to your hand, and the rest go to your grave. Imagine this in tier. You pick like a bunch of tier names and like one random card, and yeah, they just dump them all, you add a card to your hand, and you gain all the effects in grave. It's insanity. It's a +1, and you're dumping 4 cards. It's just insanity. Of course you can Ash this, but like, it doesn't matter, this card's insane.
Yeah, it's essentially a +5 when you think of it, considering how much the graveyard is a second hand now. It's basically just saying, with Painful Choice, you can just pick whatever cards you want in your hand if you open this. I think it should be up next to Mystic Mine, because it is really broken, especially when you're thinking about modern Yu-Gi-Oh!
You can also search this off with Triple Tactics Trust, which is hilarious. Next up, we have Dimension Fusion. This card's really good.
So with Dimension Fusion, yeah, it's pretty broken. You can special summon onto your, with the cost of 2,000 life points, you can special summon onto your field as many banished monsters that you want onto your field, which is just absolutely insane. And yeah, you can make an argument that like, well, they're only at the banished zone, so it doesn't really matter. But one thing that I find really, really funny about this card is because it's considered a fusion card, if it's in Master Duel, you can use this with Verte Anaconda as well. So it's going to dump Dimension Fusion, then you just bring back a bunch of your banished stuff. So yeah, it's still really, really broken. I don't see this card ever coming back really, especially now that we have a designated banishment in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now. So it's just a way for it to get abused. It's just a way to spam the board, and yeah, just for the cost of 2,000 life points, it's not a hefty cost enough in order for this card to be brought back at all.
Imagine this in Malice or even Cash. That would be hilarious. Next up, Metamorphosis. It's pretty good. It allows you to tribute a monster and especially summon a fusion monster with the same level from your extra deck. Yeah, that could probably be abused a lot now. Let's probably put it up here. There's a bunch of good like fusion monsters now that you could probably just summon a guy, use Metamorphosis, and bring out like some crazy boss monster. So yeah, I'm sure it's pretty broken. Back in the day, it wasn't like too crazy, but you know, I'm sure there's a ton of like broken cards you can just get out that you really shouldn't be able to get out.
Considering how easy it is to get fusion monsters onto the field nowadays, I'm still absolutely shocked at Azamina bringing fusion monsters out by just getting rid of one simple spoil cards. I think is pretty crazy. So you can make an argument that maybe Metamorphosis isn't the most broken card anymore, but just when you consider all of the fusions that we have now that don't necessarily need to be fusion summoned anymore, this could have the potential of getting out of hand. I don't see any direct lines in where this can be abused per se, but I just know for a fact that not only is it good for getting a fusion monster out, but also you're basically setting up your graveyard as well by tributing that monster to get it out. So you're essentially getting an extra body for pretty much free, I find. So yeah, it can definitely be abused, but I don't think it's as broken as the likes of Kaiser Coliseum or Dimension Fusion, so definitely deserves to be at the lower end of how is this legal.
Next up, Pot of Greed, draw 2 cards. Next up, Forceful Sentry.
This is all the hand rip cards, to be honest with you, so we might just group them all together.
They're all bullshit.
Yeah, pretty much. So, Forceful Sentry is you're basically just looking at your opponent's hand and getting rid of one. Absolutely crazy. Confiscation, you're paying 1,000 light points, look at your opponent's hand, get rid of one. Delinquent Duo, what the... Like, what? How? You pay 1,000 light points, not only do you get rid of a card from your opponent's hand, they have to discard another card. So you're basically ripping 2 cards out of your opponent's hand for next to no cost, and that is absolutely crippling. It is definitely the best hand rip spell, and there is not a chance that this thing's ever coming back. I mean, I even look at it as being broken in Go format, to be honest with you.
I was going to even say that. Like, they're broken in the format that they were, like, in.
Yeah.
Where they're fully legal.
Exactly. So there's not a chance this thing would ever come back. If we were to ever look at, like, Yu-Gi-Oh's equivalent to the Power 9, Delinquent Duo is definitely up there with Pot of Greed and stuff like that. So yeah, these are all unfair cards and deserve to be in the top tier with What Does It Do.
Next up, Soul Charge. This card is so funny because how was this ever legal? How? This is just insanity. Pay 1,000 life points for each monster in your grave and just special summon as many monsters as you want. That's just madness. That's just like insanely broken, and people just didn't play it when it was legal.
Yeah, especially when you think of how late it was like released, because I think you'd read that card and think it's like, oh, from 2004 or something like that. No, this is a fairly modern card when it came out, and I don't know how it was ever legal at all, so it definitely deserves a spot in how was this legal.
This was like 2017. I remember getting this in, I think it was a Legendary Duelist box. It was like in the Phantom Knight deck or something like that, and that's like, of course that'd be crazy in Phantom Knights, but just having this card in like a structure deck, that's just so funny. It's like, this card is insane. Next up, Cards of Safe Return.
There's no way this thing can ever come back. So it's when a monster is special summoned from your graveyard, you can draw 1 card. And that's not a once per turn effect. This is a continuous spell as well.
Maybe that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So considering the likes of Horus and stuff like that, and Horus you can throw into pretty much any deck you want, really, hypothetically speaking. Yeah, Card of Safe Return is just absolutely insane. There's a lot of cards that are just able to special themselves from the graveyard. Even when you're thinking of the likes of Heroes and stuff like that, I think that can kind of abuse it too, with the likes of your Cross Crusader and things like that. So yeah, I definitely think Card of Safe Return would probably be up there with the Power 9. It is pretty broken. Hand advantage is everything in Yu-Gi-Oh! So having a card that you're able to draw a bunch, not once per turn, just for bringing cards back from the graveyard, this will be used and abused like nothing else.
Next up we have Cold Wave. This card is kind of insane. We'll put it like here, maybe even here. So yeah, only activate it during your main phase 1, and until the end of the next turn, you and your opponent can activate spells or traps. That's it.
Just straight up, like one of the most important parts of this game. Setting traps and activating spell cards. Yeah, you can't do any of it. It basically means you can't play most of your deck.
Yeah, and it's crazy if you're going first, because if you're going first and you have like a monster focused deck, activate this card and then do your full combo, and your opponent just can't break your board. Most board breakers are spell cards, and most combo pieces are spell cards. So in certain decks, this is just like auto win if you're going first. It's kind of broken, to be honest.
Yeah, it never came up, but like if this was in the game now, it can even turn off imperms and stuff like that. I feel like if the wording will be correct. So yeah, no, Cold Wave can stay banned. Thank you very much.
Next up, we have all the broken equip cards. Let's start off with Smoke Grenade of the Thief. It kind of goes into the hand rip category because it's like, if it's sent to grave, you rip a card out of your opponent's hand.
Yeah, well, this was abused in Infernal Knights, and what I find so funny about this card is, yeah, it's a broken like spell and stuff like that, but this was the only way they hit Infernal Knights, and after they hit that, like, everyone just stopped playing Infernal Knights, which I find to be really funny because it actually is a fairly decent deck, but as soon as they took away the hand ripping stuff, people wanted to stop playing with them, which I think is very unfair, but also kind of funny. A lot of equip spells can be used and abused, especially like the old ones that aren't once per turn. So Smoke Grenade of the Thief, I'm not really surprised that it got banned eventually. There was going to be some deck that was going to be able to take advantage of it. So It just so happened to be Infernal Knights.
Next up, Butterfly Dagger, whatever it's called.
Yeah, Butterfly Dagger Elma. The reason why this is mostly banned is because of a degenerate reason where there's a strategy where there is a card, it's one of Joey's cards, I think it's Gearfried the Iron Knight. If an equip spell is equipped to Gearfried the Iron Knight, then it destroys the equip spell. But Butterfly Dagger has the effect that if it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, it goes back to your hand. Now, one reason why that was so broken was because if you pit this up with Magical Library and Gearfried the Iron Knight, right? What you got to keep doing is you're going to activate Butterfly Dagger, equipping it to Gearfree. That's activating a spell, so your Magical Library gets a counter. Gearfree is going to destroy the Butterfly Dagger, and then that dagger is going to be returned to your hand because none of these are once per turn. You are going to activate Butterfly Dagger again, equipping it to Gearfree. Magical Library is going to get another counter. Gearfree is going to destroy that card, send it to the graveyard, and add it back to your hand. You're basically hand looping yourself because Magical Library, you get rid of 3 counters, you get to draw a card. This was an Exodia FTK.
Let's bring it back.
Let's bring it back.
You convinced me. This is the best card in the game. Next up, Premature Burial. This could probably come back. I know it's an equip spell. I know there's some like weird stuff you can do with it. But it's kind of just like worse Monster Reborn, honestly.
Yeah, Isolde's banned now, so you can't really take advantage of it too much anymore, I feel like. And I don't know. I just think there's better ways to reborn monsters from the graveyard without having to rely on Premature Burial. You can't even search yourself a thrust or anything like that. And there's so many archetypes that just have like built-in reborns anyways that you don't necessarily need Premature Burial, in my opinion.
It definitely is one of those cards where like in a ban list or two you could just see it coming back. It's not that crazy. Next up, Mass Driver. This is a nice FTK card. It's basically Cannon Soldier, tribute a monster, burn upon for 400, not once per turn. You can see where this could go awry. You can see where this can be absolutely insane for FTK decks.
FTKs for days, yeah. The amount of decks that are able to spam out monsters now, and you're able to just get rid of a monster to inflict 400 damage to your opponent is pretty crazy. Definitely a last will to live.
Next up, Mirage of Nightmare. This is kind of a weird one because, you know, it's very good. You activate it, and then during your opponent's standby phase, you draw until you have 4 cards, and then during your standby phase, you discard as many cards as you drew. This card is, of course, it's fantastic because you can draw like 3 cards, but it's only during your opponent's turn. But of course, you can draw into like hand traps and stuff like that. So that's really crazy. And obviously, if you don't have cards in your hand, you can't discard them. So if you draw into a bunch of hand traps, you can't even discard all of them. So it's very strong in that regard. And also, even back in like Edison format, you could just like, if you're playing a Chaos deck, draw a bunch of cards in your opponent's turn, and then discard like any kind of Chaos guys. So yeah, this card's kind of insane. It is a bit weird because it draws in your opponent's turn. So I think if it came back, of course, it would be played in some decks. But I don't think it would be crazy. I think it's a bit clunky in a way. But, you know, people would probably just run it just to draw into hand traps in the opponent's turn, which is kind of cringe. So, I mean, okay, yeah, let's put him up. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good, especially when you think of like the amount of hand traps decks run now. Because I even look at like my Fire King deck and stuff like that. When I was able to pop off with it, I end up with like 1 or 2 cards in hand, and then if I had Mirage in the field, I just essentially draw 2 more cards, which is potential for 2 more hand traps. Yeah, pretty crazy. I think the timing of it is just a little bit weird because you're drawing during your opponent's standby phase, and then you don't have to discard stuff until your next standby phase, which is just, it's fairly odd. It's oddly worded, oddly played, but it could definitely make some unbalanced gameplay, I think.
Next up, Graceful Charity, arguably more broken than Pot of Greed. Draw 3 cards, discard 2. That's just insanity. I can't believe, like, everyone jokes about Pot of Greed being the most broken card. Graceful Charity is even better.
Oh, I always say Graceful Charity is way more broken than Pot of Greed. Well, Graceful Charity is great because when you're thinking you're drawing 3 and then you're discarding 2, you're basically getting like a +1 essentially. However, considering that your graveyard is a secondary hand, if you're going to be discarding 2 cards to the graveyard, that is potentially more advantage for you. And especially if you're playing something like Dark World, since it specifically says you need to discard 2. That is insane. Dark World would abuse the hell out of this. And honestly, a lot of other decks would, because if when you think of like of tier or anything like that, this would be really, really crazy. This card could never come back. It's even broken in GOAT in my opinion.
Next up, Last Will to Live. I don't remember what this card does. Last Will is one of the most broke. I'm putting it in top 3.
Yeah.
This card is mental. So it's a spell card, activated anytime during your turn that any one of your monsters has been sent to grave. You can special summon any monster from your deck with 1500 or less attack. This is during a turn that any one of your monsters has been sent to grave. So normal summon a monster, maybe link it off. A monster you control has been sent to the grave. Activate Last Will, special summon anything with 1500 or less attack, which most monsters in the game, most like combo starters and stuff like that, have low attack. This just summons anything. This card is ridiculous.
Yeah, especially thinking about decks that run 2 separate engines. So again, if you're playing something like Fire King Snake Eye and stuff like that, if you open your Fire King stuff and then you get interrupted a lot to a point where you can't like go through your Fire King plays, just activate Last Will, go straight into your Snake Eye stuff, and it's things like that. It's just absolutely crazy. Even with the likes of Live Twin Sprite, if you're popping off with some of your Live Twin stuff, but it gets interrupted too much and you don't have a clear access to your Sprite package, Last Will get you there. It is definitely top 3 in terms of most broken spells. Top 3 in the Power 9 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Crazy card.
And finally, funny enough, comparatively this doesn't seem very good. Sinful Spoil Snake Eye. Honestly, let's be honest here. This card is not that good. I mean, it's very good, but it's not like ban worthy in my opinion now. Of course, back in the day, like it did kill Snake Eyes, but like if you see it now, you know, Malice being a top deck, it's just one of those hits where it's kind of like, let's push this deck back and let other decks kind of fill the top meta. If they brought this back, Snake Eye would be a meta deck 100%, but like, pure Snake Eye probably wouldn't be a meta deck. It would be more so Snake Eye Fire King. Even Snake Eye Rescue Ace might be like a meta deck or even rogue deck. This card's very good, but it doesn't really cause any issues like on Master or anything. It's basically really good for like bridging Snake Eyes or specifically Diabell Star into any kind of like fire engine. So like, of course, Snake Eye, Fire King, Rescue Ace, all that. And those days, I know they had their time, but this card does not need to be banned in my opinion. I understand why it's banned, I understand it's really good, but like, the way Yu-Gi-Oh! Ban lists kind of work is sometimes they just hit cards just so the deck won't be meta anymore, so you kind of have to buy the new cards, and that's really what this kind of card is. If they released like Malice and Ryziel and stuff like that, Snake Eyes would have fallen out of meta anyway, not like 100%, they still would be in the meta as like a tier 2 or a rogue deck or whatever, but it's just one of those hits where it doesn't need to be banned. This card could come back and it wouldn't ruin the game.
Yeah, I think it can come back now, but I think it was hit at the right time, just because when you think of how long we were in Fire format for, it was crazy. It was most of the year, basically, if not the entirety of the year, because that Fire King structure that came out pretty late going into the next year. So yeah, it deserved to get hit when it did, but seeing how fast Yu-Gi-Oh! Moves on, it's already pretty power crept now, so yeah, I can see it as coming back. Maybe not in the next 3 or 4 ban lists, but yeah, I see this definitely coming back when no one cares about it anymore.
So that's it for the best banned spell cards tier list. Overall, pretty happy with this. I feel like the banned spell cards, most of them definitely deserve to be banned. Compared to like the links and stuff like that where you can make an argument for a lot of them, yeah, almost all these are banned for a very good reason. Spell cards are probably the most broken cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! And yeah, they're hilarious. So thanks for watching, let us know what you think in the comments. I know these cards are banned, but maybe you want to expand your collection and buy a few. Maybe they'll get unbanned, who knows. Check out our TCG Player affiliate link in the description. If you buy cards off that link, you'll directly support the channel and help us keep up with the content. Maybe you're a GOAT player and you want to play Pot of Greed. Let's go. If you want to support the channel in other ways, definitely consider becoming a member. Members get access to our videos as soon as we make them. And again, thanks for watching and stay tuned for more tier lists.